Da 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 da! It's Samantha
and Melissa.
and we're about to rock your world. All right, let's practice.
All right, get in tone. All right.
Yes, that was harmony. Dun, 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 dun.
She has the best.
Oh my God!
Oh, really?
That's hilarious.
Oh my God. Rise and shine, ladies. You're tuned in to Skirts Up with Samantha and Melissa.
We got your daily dose of hope and humor while we discuss everything from failing to succeeding
And all the spiciness in between.
Welcome back. We are here again for our season finale. This is Sam.
And this is Melissa.
And since this is our finale, I just thought that we should take a moment and talk about some of our favorite moments.
I love it. I love it. Give me yours first, because I still kind of want to think.
When I think about like favorite moments, I feel like there's so many. Like there were so many times that just people we were talking to were funny, or, you know, things that came out of our mouth were really funny. But the thing that sticks out the most to me
It better not be mine.
well, when someone says, what is your best episode? If you could just give me one episode, what would it be? And it would be Making Friends in Your 30s.
Oh, really?
Because that's where, I mean, that's my best storytelling and fail. That's my hand getting stuck in the car.
Okay.
And then on top of that, that's where Getting Froggy gets introduced. And Getting Froggy, like that has carried us through in every episode.
We've gotten froggy every episode.
Always. Yeah. And so I think that would be a
That's
favorite
really
moment.
Cute.
It's a good setup.
It's so different than what I was going to say. I love it because you're kind of like, hey, that set the foundation.
It did.
And I think you're right. That is not what I was expecting you to say. And mine's kind of dumb. But my favorite moment is when Melissa Walker, when Sam challenged her. And she's like, but wait, what about the person who always is like hyper vigilant? And Melissa Walker's just kind of like, well, I don't know you very well, Sam, but I would guess that you are this type of person who has this in her past, who is experiencing these kinds of things. And everything was like spot on. And Sam just was laughing. So we were both laughing so hard. It was like she got called out.
I did. I got put in my place.
It was so funny.
That was a
but
good
of
one.
course, it was such a nice
It was in
way.
love.
It was out of love, yes.
Yeah.
Of
No,
course.
but that was hilarious.
It
Like,
was
because I'm sitting here
insane.
challenging, like, okay, but this is how I am. And then she was like, but there's a why.
Right.
And it's like,
exactly.
boom.
Oh, and it was a light bulb moment for you.
It was.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that's pretty cool too. I would say if we're talking about favorite moments,
That was a good one.
that and also just the idea that there were so many moments where we just kind of like had our minds blown and we're just like light bulb.
Yeah, that was.
And that was one of
Yeah,
them.
that
But
was one of them.
Anyway,
For sure.
yeah. So what do you look forward to in our future?
I look forward to the expanding that we're doing. So a little bit of a little sneak peek. We are doing our first video recording
This
episode.
weekend.
Yes, we're traveling to Asheville and we're doing our first in-person interview with video with a psychic medium. And I'm actually really excited because she's going to do a reading for us. And then she's going to talk with us about it. And I'm excited to bring that aspect in. And I hope it's something that we can use more.
Yeah. Agreed. So like when we first started, we had talked about wanting to like go out into the world and bring you
Yes.
guys with us.
Uh-huh.
And we haven't been able to do that yet because we've been learning our equipment. We've been learning podcasting, period. Like we've never done this before. This is just something that we kind of wanted to take a journey together and learn things,
Something
stoke curiosity. Yeah, have fun. So we didn't exactly have the tools at our hands to go out into the world and take you with us yet. So far, it's been at our kitchen table or whatnot. But season 2, that's going to be our first episode. You're going to come
Yeah.
with us to Asheville. And I'm so excited.
What do you hope to see change? Is there anything?
Okay. I would say, I almost said no. But the truth is, if we're not changing, then we're staying stagnant, right?
That's my line.
No, it is not.
That's not what I was going to say.
Okay.
But didn't I say that?
I don't know. I
Adventurous?
always say that. Did you? Oh, that's so funny. No, it's one of my things that I always say is like, there's no sitting still. You're either progressing or you're falling. And so what the change that I want to see is just us being able to grow closer together, us being able to grow closer to you guys, and maybe even get more, not just feedback.
Interaction.
Thank you.
That's what I want to see change.
That's
I want to
what I wanna
see a change, like an increase of like you guys wanting to talk to us and us talking to you. And we have more things to add. Like,
Yeah.
I'm really excited about.
She said it exactly what I was trying to say.
Yeah. Okay, before we get too carried away,
Oh, tell me more.
do we do our fails?
Oh, we have to.
We have to.
That's
It's our
what
last
we
episode.
do. Yeah.
It's our thing.
All right. Come on. What you got? What you got?
Okay. Well, today I'm really sad.
I'm too for you.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, I've been looking forward to a new tattoo with this artist that I've been like wanting to get booked with for years. And I finally got something scheduled and it was really fun and exciting. And I put the date and time into my phone incorrectly, late. So my tattoo was supposed to be today and I missed it. And so now I don't have my tattoo. And I'm really sad.
It's really sad. And if you would even actually accidentally messed up in the opposite direction, you could have shown up and she'd be like, not till tomorrow.
Right.
But you missed it. And she's booked out, huh?
Booked out.
Till when?
I don't know yet. She's still got to get back to me.
I hope she'll get back to you. She likes you.
Hopefully.
Man, that's very disappointing. I'm sorry.
It was. I was sad.
So my tattoo is my tattoo. My fail is
It'd be really weird if you got a tattoo there.
So my fail has to do with the fact that my leg was hurting on the inside of my thigh. Any of you curvy girls, come on, you're gonna know what it's like when you get that like thigh rub. So what happened is I'm in the bathroom and like my husband's in bed at night and I get up and I'm kind of like got my leg up on the counter and I'm looking at my thigh on the inside of it and I'm like, is there a zit? Why does my thigh hurt? And it felt like a rug burn. Okay.
Chafing.
Please don't hate me. Or not hate me. Don't give me hate. But I wear my jeans more than one day in a row because I feel like jeans, whatever. So I put on the same pair of jeans the next day. I get to Sam's house and I realize there's a huge hole in the middle of my like crotchal area by my thigh. And I'm literally getting thigh chafing. And then we had to go meet, we had to go downtown to Atlanta together. I did not have other clothes to change into. So my fail is that
I made her do the bend and snap.
yeah, she helped me out, is that I was walking around town for like a whole day and a half, probably 2 days with a big old hole in my pants. And I hope I didn't show the world things they don't want to see.
I mean, hopefully you weren't bending and snapping for everyone.
I might have the first day and not known.
Hopefully it was just for me.
So that's my fail, man. It was really embarrassing, but maybe at least it's a little relatable. I think we've all
no one knew.
dumb, stupid stuff.
Oh,
We hope
for sure.
nobody knew.
Yeah, I remember several instances where like people would like rip their pants at school.
Really?
And I'm pretty sure I had to do that once and I wore like a hoodie around or someone gave me a hoodie to wear like around my waist or something.
Yeah, so hopefully it's relatable. But I was just like, are you kidding me? That's why my thigh is hurting.
That's pretty funny.
And then I go out in public. Okay. Fails. Y'all understand them. What do we have for today, though?
Kids say the darnest things.
God darn, they do.
Did you like how I didn't say damn?
Yeah, and you know what? I accidentally said G-O-D, but I'm going to try not to swear the rest of the episode because we do have kids that we have on this, and I think my nieces and nephews might listen to it.
Yeah, I think we'll have a younger audience for this episode. Just this episode, guys. That's it. We were like, okay, so what do we want to know about kids? And so we went to social media and we, started asking in a bunch of parenting groups if you can know anything or ask your children anything and like want an idea of what's really going on. What would you want to know? And everyone listed like the same 4 things, really. It was school and bullying, career and bills, death, and then, of course, we had to throw in our own silly little spin.
Yeah, so like we had a couple fun questions for them for sure.
We've already done our interviews with the kids.
Yeah.
And we've asked them pretty much the same question, and we're going to cut it up for you guys so that you can hear some of the best responses we got. It was really hard to cut it down to decide on what you guys are going to hear and what you're not going to hear because it was so good.
Yeah, it was really eye-opening, actually. We're going to try to tackle each subject one at a time. So, like, first we're going to show you what they all said about bullying. But we talked to kids of different ages.
Yeah, we had
What are our
5,
ages?
9, 12, and 14.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So it's a pretty good progression.
A really good progression, I think. And so you'll get to kind of hear how their minds are developing. It's really wild.
So the first thing that I saw the most, and we thought, hey, let's start with that, is school and bullying. I remember being bullied in school.
Mm-hmm.
And what's interesting is, well, let's play it for you first, and then I'll tell you what I find interesting.
Yeah. All right. So the first thing we were asking all the kids was, do you feel safe at school? And is bullying a problem?
Being really, really rude.
Really?
My friend called my other friend a meanie.
We have Miss Leah.
Hi. I'm 8. It's good, but every new year it gets harder and harder. I have friends and I can play with them and I can learn stuff.
I'm Charlotte and I'm 12. There's a lot of drama in school, so like friends are a problem when like there was a problem with some friends who weren't being very kind. If you're friends with someone for a while and then they start being mean, it's like, oh, well, this is weird, you know.
I'm Greg, and I am 14 years old.
I've been asking all the other kids about bullying and if they see it as a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Since you're older, I guess I could just straight up say, do you worry about bad things happening while you're at school?
Yeah, I actually did have some like anxiety. I was worried about someone coming in and hurting people, and it's a problem. And yeah, there's not really a perfect way to prepare for it either. So I was asking Mother if I could buy like a bulletproof backpack or something. Part of me thinks, oh, it's not going to happen. But at the same time, there's another part of me. There's kids in my school who are kind of sketchy.
Has anything ever happened?
I was in 5th grade. When this happened, I was at the dentist. So I was lucky, but there was a bomb threat, and they had to evacuate everybody out. And it was just a joke, but still people were freaking out.
Would you say that's when the anxiety started?
Because I wasn't there, no, I would say it did not start there. But I don't know, I think it's, I think 5th grade. I guess around 5th grade.
Told me
Around there.
pipe in.
It was tough.
What is really interesting, I think that we both found, was the age progression in their answers.
Right. Totally.
How it's just fun. And then
At first it's all, well, someone called me a meanie, or you know what I mean? Or they're just being really rude, right?
and it does kind of make me think of kindergarten.
Totally.
Yeah.
And it was, right?
Yeah.
It is. And then what was it next? It was,
And then it progressed into, oh, I have a lot of friends.
I have a
So
lot-
yeah,
yeah,
there's
yeah.
a little
but really not a big problem. I try to stand
Everyone's
up for
nice.
people, but yeah, exactly.
But then you get into the like
12-year-old.
12-year-olds, and then they're like, well, there's drama. There's you know, not a whole lot of kindness, but being very tame about it.
Yes. Yes.
I feel like she was trying to be, it's not.
She was trying to be positive, I think, because she was sharing her own experiences with
That is
friends,
true.
I think.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you could tell like this was hard for her to decide. Like she had friends who were suddenly being mean to her and they'd been friends for a long time. And it's like, wow, that's weird. What am I supposed to do? Like,
Did you experience
cut-
that ever? Because I did.
You did? How old
Yeah.
were you? Like at her age?
I honestly think I was younger, and I think that's why it kind of surprises me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't at that age. Not until I was like my 20s.
Because 12-year-old, that's like what, like 5th grade-ish?
She 6th.
Okay.
Seven.
Oh, yeah, mine was younger for
Seven.
sure. Because like I remember, I'm wanting to say like 3rd grade. Like the girls would start getting their cliques,
Mhm.
and then you had to be like cool enough to be in those cliques, or
Mhm.
like they'd be mean, and
Oh,
then
yeah,
like you were
totally.
friends with them yesterday, but now they're into this clique, so now you're not friends, and it's like this real,
Got
yeah,
you.
yeah.
No, that didn't really happen to me. It was more like my friends were my friends and we were all loyal to each other, but there were some girls and kids that were like just mean. And I remember getting made fun of for the clothes that I wore because we didn't have a lot of money. And I remember actually my poor brother, who I love so much, is the middle child. And he was getting made fun of a lot by this one girl named Gina.
Yeah, called out.
Right? And so he must have been like 9, and she was mean. She was aggressive, and she scratched him on his face. And so I've only been into like a couple fist fights in my whole life, and they were all for my brother Nick.
Jesus. I have been bullied probably my whole life. Like, I remember a time being bullied in kindergarten, and I remember like my mom fighting and
Really?
oh yes, like
That's
trying to get us
really
removed
mean.
from the class because it was like so bad. And then I remember, the clique starting in second, thirdish grade or whatever. And then I remember, so I moved around a lot. I think we talked about that in a previous episode. And so one of the schools that I went to for a little bit. We moved out of state, but then we moved back, and I went back to the same school.
Oh, that's gonna be weird.
It was weird. So my best friends made friends with the cooler people. And so when I came back, I wasn't part of the cooler people.
Oh.
Y'all remember water bras?
I mean, in the 90s?
Probably.
Probably.
Yeah. So my cousin had cleaned out her closet, and she
Okay.
gave me, there was a water bra in it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, I'm gonna be cool and I'm gonna wear that. Well, then I got made fun of, and people were saying that I stuffed my bra. And like one of my friend that used
You're
to
like,
be
I
my friend.
kind of do with water.
No, it didn't cross my mind. But I remember going into the cafeteria one day for lunch, and the girl who used to be my friend had stuffed her bra with tissues and then like yelled out in front of everyone that, oh, she stuffed her bra, and was throwing out tissue at me, like in the cafeteria.
That is very mean.
Yeah. And looking back now, I'm like, okay, you were wearing a water bra. Like, come on. But like,
Yeah, but just because you do something and you're experimenting and trying to find yourself doesn't mean you're asking for it.
no. And that's correct.
And
but
that's where I really loved what Charlotte said about this is actually in a future questions, but it does apply. So I'm just going to kind of share it now, and then you'll hear her say it in a little bit, I guess. But we had asked her about changing the world, like, what could you change? And she was like, I think that we just need to treat each other with kindness. And then she started talking about kids wouldn't be scared to go to school if they felt like they were accepted.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, so what? You stuffed your bra, like you wore a water bra, but you weren't asking to be treated that way.
Yeah. You're right. That is probably a grown-up way to think about it. Now, the part that shocked us the most was hearing a 14-year-old
Yeah,
come
here
to
it
the
comes.
realization of where his anxiety around school has come from and fear of school.
My heart dropped.
Did y'all hear that? A bulletproof backpack. And we didn't know that existed.
I had to have my 14-year-old nephew, whom I love dearly, bring me to the awareness that there even is a bulletproof backpack that does exist.
We literally had to look it up before we started recording because we were like, what?
And it just made me so sad that and it was interesting because he said, of course, there was that bomb threat that he talked about.
But that he wasn't there for.
He wasn't there.
But that's not what caused his anxiety.
She's doing end quotes because he said, no, that's not what caused it. But then he starts talking to his mom and he's like, when did I start having anxiety? And she goes, 5th grade. And that's when the bomb threat was.
And it's kind of like a light bulb, like, maybe that is.
That is when I started, I guess.
It technically didn't happen to him, but it still affected him.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that that's also like really wild to think about the kids.
Yes.
Like the shootings that are going on and stuff. It's not happening to them, but this just kind of brings you back to think like it's still affecting them. They're still hearing it. And it's like, whoa, we don't go to school. So like, it's like, we don't think about it.
I know. When I was in school, we literally had fire drills and we would get under our desks for earthquake drills. Oh, okay. I was in California. You were in Texas.
Yeah. I was in Kansas, Texas. So tornado drills.
Yeah. We had earthquake drills.
That is hilarious. I didn't know that.
But yeah, no, we did not have to have shooter drills. And Amelia kind of talks about how they get all in a huddle in a corner in the classroom. I wanted to be very careful about not asking my nieces and nephews that because I didn't want to scare them or make them think about something that they hadn't already thought of.
But we did pick at Amelia a little bit deeper, I think. And
well, she brought it up.
No,
Oh, you brought up that kind of drill?
I picked it up. Yeah, I picked at her a little bit Well, okay, maybe she did bring it up a little bit, and then she was explaining it as like a fun thing of like, oh, well, when this happens, we just huddle into our classroom and we're just quiet until someone taps on our window and tells us that we're good.
Yep.
And like she hadn't, at a 9-year-old, hadn't realized.
Exactly. And so when I asked my niece and nephews that question, like, I didn't want to bring that up. I kind of wanted to see if they would say anything. The only one who did was Greg, and he I was like, honestly, you're old enough. I can just straight up ask you, do you feel safe at school? When I say that, and he knew exactly what I meant. Like, he went straight there.
So another thing that I found pretty relatable is the careers. Do you remember what you wanted to be when you were growing up?
Yeah, I remember being about 4 or 5, and all of my friends wanted to be famous, and it was really funny.
Really? Back then?
Yes. Isn't that weird?
I don't mean that like you're old, but I mean like that wasn't, I don't remember that being big, but now it's like all the kids want to be streamers and famous.
They do. Right? So it's kind of the same. They want to be rock stars.
Okay.
I didn't really want that. I just kind of like wanted when I was real little, and this is probably also, it was a little bit projected onto me because of my going to church and my family, but I was like, I want to grow up and be a mom. And then as I got older, of course, I had other ideas,
That's really funny.
Yeah.
It makes me think of my mom. My mom always said that one time she was asked as a kid what she wanted to be when she grew up. And she said she wanted to be like, it was like, I want to be a stay-at-home mom with this many kids and a 3-day hooker. But she meant to say something else.
Oh, my goodness. What did she mean to say?
I can't remember. Mom, you'll have to tell me. But
Shannon, please tell us. That is hilarious. Post
it's a
on
good one.
Facebook.
Yeah. When I was growing up, I can't remember like thinking this is what I'm going to be or this is what I want to do. I remember being very, very interested in possibly being a cop with a canine.
As I got older, I wanted to be a veterinarian.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Like
that was one that
my mind
lasted
until I got into the field.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be that probably from age like 12 on. That and an architect, but I think the architect again was kind of like, that was something my dad wanted for me.
Listen to these kids. It's pretty funny.
That is a really good question. For a while, I wanted to be an author, but I always keep in mind, like, would I be able to make a living off of that? And I'm not sure about that job, but I would like to teach at a college.
So I've gone through a lot of phases. I went through like rock star, YouTuber, football player, bounty hunter, believe it or not. Stop laughing. But recently I've been thinking I want to be a dentist like Uncle Ben.
What I really liked is
Charlotte.
She mentions that she wanted to be an author, but it's not going to pay the bills. So she's thinking a professor now. I loved listening to the 15-year-old's progression of like, well, I wanted to be this, I wanted to be that. But, as I grow up, I see, and like there was like that.
Yeah, it's like they start realizing as they get older, it's not just fun and games anymore. It's not like, oh, I get to grow up and do something fun. It's I have to grow up and take care of myself.
Yeah.
So, it's almost like you could see them.
You could. And he like is still in that age where he can remember the progression of like, oh, I wanted to be this at one point. I want to be this. And like now I can't remember that. Like I'm sure I wanted to be something stupid like a ballerina. I have no idea.
Exactly.
Ballerinas aren't stupid. So sorry.
They're not at all. They're super tough. Okay. Side note, when I was young, I was probably 17 and I was babysitting for my next door neighbor. And the boy, he was like 11, one of the kids that I was babysitting. And he goes, I hope I never date a ballerina. And I was like, why? And he goes, she would be so much stronger than me and I would feel so weak. And I was like, that is the weirdest thing to say. And you are 11. And it was hilarious.
That is interesting.
Ballerinas, you are not stupid.
Okay.
All right. So we wanted to ask the kids, what do they know about paying bills and actually having to like be an adult?
Mm-hmm. I'm just going to tell you.
Tell me.
I was freaking shocked how many of them at the different ages were like taxes.
Yes.
Listen to it. Where are we?
There are things you have to pay for, like electricity and Wi-Fi and water. And that money goes to, I think it's schools and other stuff, to school for desks and all that.
I worry about that all the time. I started like thinking about paying bills in like 6th grade, I want to say. I'm like already like thinking like, I gotta pay bills. Not happy about it, but I mean, I got to. It's just annoying. I'm trying not to worry about it because I don't have to yet.
What kind of things will you have to pay for when you're an adult?
a lot. They charge you for everything. Like, if you're water, electricity, they're probably going to charge us for oxygen soon. Who knows? Phone bill? There's more. I know there's more.
There's more.
And there's
There's
taxes.
more.
Taxes is another thing, too.
Okay. Taxes. What do you think about taxes?
I don't like them, but I think they're good because I don't want to give my money away, but they are helping the community. If taxes weren't a thing, we wouldn't have schools, good roads, we wouldn't have a lot of things. And if we had it so people just came and donated, no one would donate because humans are selfish creatures. I wouldn't donate, but I think it's good. It's just annoying, you know?
Oh my gosh, I died. We probably are going to be paying for oxygen. He's not lying. Like, what?
He straight up said, I don't know, sooner or later.
That is the best thing I think I've ever heard in my life. He's not wrong.
Probably not, and I hate it.
But I'm really impressed with a 9-year-old knowing where tax money goes.
Yeah, that was really sweet.
I feel like a lot of adults forget what tax money goes to because I hear a lot of us adults being like, oh, why do we have to pay taxes? Taxes are so much. And then you have this little 15-year-old to remind
14.
us, 14-year-old,
Even.
to remind us, well, if we didn't have taxes, who would voluntarily give their money?
Yeah.
Would you? No.
It was insane because he's like, honestly, I wouldn't.
Right. Would I?
Am
Probably
I
not.
being honest with myself when I think I would? How I do try to do some charity, but I'm not like going and like taking. There are homeless people out there that are not being donated to. So yes, he's right. Even with the taxes that are happening, it's not enough.
But
and
let's just be
donations
real.
aren't.
Even enough people
That's
wouldn't be
right.
willing enough.
Exactly.
And so it's like, reminder,
Yeah.
this is why we do it. And
Yeah.
it's like, it's mind-blowing that a child.
I know. And he even said, oh, I think I cut that part when I first started my interview with Greg. And I said, yeah, so we're asking different children what they think about different things. And I said, oh, but I don't know, do you consider yourself a child? And he goes, I am very much a child.
I didn't hear that part. That is so funny.
But yeah. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's insightful they can be.
It is. And it just makes you remember and just kind of think.
Yeah, I also thought it was interesting how Greg talked about, I started thinking about bills when I was in 6th grade. And I was like, whoa, wait, I did too. And what do we have in common?
You guys are the first child.
Yeah. And so then Sam and I started talking and we're like,
Logan's also very money hungry, wants to know about money, wants to understand it. And then it was kind of like a light bulb for us, like maybe, and we could be wrong because
we have a theory though.
We have a theory. I mean, we should test this. Let's interview a whole lot more people.
We do know our sample selection was small and we do know that the demographic wasn't very varied. So we're just going to put that out there. But
it seems like the first child is the one who sees us parents get our shit together.
Yeah.
And so they
are stuff together.
Our stuff together. Thanks. I'll bleep it.
Say it again.
Bleep. Not bleep. The first child, they're the ones who see us parents getting our crap together.
Yeah.
I edited myself again. Thank you.
She did good.
And it's like because they see the parents struggling and going through the work of what it takes to have what you have.
Right.
Other kids don't see that because usually by the time the other kids come along, you're already have progressed.
A little more established. And
Yeah.
they don't Owen did say, yeah, they're paying for our necessities and he's 9. But Greg was like, I started stressing about paying bills.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, wow, because
what would have caused it?
Yeah.
The only explanation is that they see it.
I mean, I don't think it's the only explanation, but I do think it's a huge part. They're the oldest. They're there for it. They're living it.
All right.
What's next?
Your fun question.
Oh, what was
One of
my
your
fun
fun
question?
Oh, actually, we are at 2 of your fun questions.
Ooh, remind me. What was the first one?
Would you rather have a job that you love that makes little money or a job that you dislike to make a lot of money?
Yeah.
Listen.
I would like a job that I really like, but doesn't get that much money.
I gotta be completely honest. I'm going with the lots of money. Like, I want to live comfortably, and I'm willing to make some sacrifices.
Okay, so you have sweet little 9-year-old going, I want the job that I love
Yeah,
for
she
little
did
money, and I'm
really
gonna make do. Keep in mind, this is a middle child.
Okay.
She's a middle child.
Okay. Okay, back to our theory.
I'm just back
She
to my
just wants
theory.
to point it out.
Back to my theory.
Okay. So when I asked the two middle kids of my niece and nephews, because there was 4 of them. There's 5, 9, 12, and 14 aged.
So this is the question where you actually started putting that theory together. When we were listening to everyone talk, this is the question where we were listening to the 9-year-old, the middle child say, I want the job that I love and I'll make do with little money. Like, it's not that big of a deal.
Okay.
Versus
Yeah.
the 14-year-old who, is that first child. And he's like, no.
Actually, this is the question where I believed still that it was all about just progressing until you're getting older. So, and then when we asked about the bills, I was like, the moment he said I had to worry is when I was like, wait, that's the oldest child thing. On this question, I was like, okay, so I just want to be happy. And then 12, it's like, wait, can I have both? And I thought, okay. So we're progressing we're showing like a little bit of the mind's growing. And then what'd the 14-year-old say? I'm going to be honest. I was laughing so hard as soon as he said that. He's like, I want money and I'm not afraid to sacrifice for it.
Yep, that's exactly what he said. And
yeah. And so we were kind of like, geez, again, does that have to do with age progression or being the oldest and realizing life ain't easy?
No, I am curious to know. Like, I would like to know the answer to that.
Yeah, tell us what your kids are saying. Yeah, tell us like if you're seeing the age order
Ask your
birth
kids
order.
some of these questions.
Yeah, I want to see the birth order.
I want to know the birth order. I want to know the age, and I want to know if it's changed.
Yes,
if you can remember.
Okay, so we had another.
You had another
funny
silly question.
Oh, it was the whole like if you were stranded on a desert island, what 3 things would you take?
Just listen.
Extra sail, a book on how to build a boat, and food and water in a bag.
I would bring my mom, and then I'd bring food and seeds.
Mom? I get stuck on the island too? Like, what? We're both gonna die. Like, what?
Okay, think of it this way. She knows that you are her life support. She knows that you take care of her. Like, you're everything to her.
Okay.
Come on. That's the sweetest thing ever.
Oh my gosh. When you put it that way, okay. But
Mom, you're like, thank you, no.
I'm just kidding. If I feel okay. In real life, if one of our children got stranded, a mom's dream would obviously be, I wish I was stranded with them, like so I could protect them.
Yes.
But I just was not expecting that answer.
I wasn't expecting her to just come out with it around. Oh, and mom too.
Like, oh my God. But then you have another 9-year-old and like they're logical. They're like, I'd bring a self-help book on how to build it. I'd bring an extra sail and I'd bring a baggie of food and water. Like,
yeah, he did. At first he's all, I would take stuff to fix the boat. And he's like, no, never mind. The boat's totally wrecked. And then he's all, then I cut that
build
part,
a boat.
but yeah. Okay, never mind. Let's build it from scratch.
like the difference between 9-year-olds and us girls like to say,
we like to say that girls are
more mature, faster, and smarter.
But it was hilarious hearing those two who are the same age be like, Mom, and then I need a book.
But maybe to your point, the smart thing is mom protects.
Yeah, I love it. I think so. I love it.
Oh my God.
We did cut my 5-year-old saying, what would I take? Something, and something.
And then like,
and then he goes, paint.
I just want to paint rocks. It would keep me busy.
I was like, okay, there you have it from the mouth of a child. But all right. So
So here's another. We only asked one child about death.
Yes.
And I think we were both like, oh, it is so sensitive, but it is a question that really got asked a lot in the mom groups.
I actually wish I asked.
Do you?
I forgot to ask my
It can be
nephew.
so sensitive.
It can, but they're mature children. I could have asked them.
Yeah.
Anyhow, Amelia blew us away. What was it she
Really?
said?
She said this.
Mm-mm. Because and then I would just have to see everyone's funeral.
That made me want to cry. I
Like,
was
isn't
like,
that
are you kidding
wild?
me right now?
Yes. It was a very interesting thought because I feel like kids usually are like, I'm gonna live forever. Like,
they just think they're invincible, or maybe
yeah.
I don't know.
Yes. You know, my husband has like tried to jump out of a window thinking he could fly as a child, like because you think you're invincible. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's true. It was it was touching for her to be like, I just want the people I love to be around me for as long as they can, and I want to enjoy that one normal life with them.
We're about to get serious again because the next questions that we asked, it was just, you start to get mind opened again.
Yeah, and blown.
Just blown. So we ask all the children, and you're going to hear most of theirs. If you could have a magic wand and change anything in the world, what would it be?
Yeah. Listen.
I would take away greed. Let me think. Is anything to benefit the world? Everyone would have a home and no one would everyone would have food and no one would be poor again.
I think probably the way people treat each other, because if people just change that, a lot of things would be a lot better and other things could change as well.
Right. Give me an example.
Changing it so that people treat each other the same way as they treat everybody, so they go out of their way to be nice to others.
How do you think that could change the world?
I think just everything would be more peaceful. Going back to school would be so many kids would enjoy going to school more because they were able to feel like they had friends, like people cared about them there.
I would change the fact that people are willing to bomb each other because of a difference in opinion. We need more peace on Earth.
Do you think there's a way we can achieve that?
I think it's going to take a long time. I'd say, but it's going to need everybody to actually make an effort with the end goal to just end contention and rough stuff.
What did you think?
My heart is swelled up right now.
Yeah.
Because and almost like I could even maybe cry a little just because I know these kids, but I don't think they're alone in being so thoughtless and kind and just wanting good things for those around them. And I feel like if we could just remember, like, hey, let's treat each other with kindness, like the way it just seems so natural to come from them like that.
It just seems so simple. Like, what would you have said if you could change anything with a
if
magical?
I could change
like,
anything
what would you have said
at my age right now?
right now if you did not hear?
I
them?
mean, granted, I guess at this age, I do know we want world peace, but I almost feel like maybe I'm just so jaded and I think it would never happen anyway. So I'm just going to ask for $1 million. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah. And it's just so funny that every single one of their answers revolve around being nicer, being kinder, giving.
accepting.
And the fact that, who said that? Greg. What I find really interesting is that he's like, people are bombing each other over a difference in opinion.
Yeah.
We just had a present shot because of a difference of opinion.
Yeah.
Like,
And
that's
there's
wild.
things like going on in this world, even overseas, and that we don't even have to see, luckily, here. But it's just heartbreaking. And it's literally over just
difference
opinions
of opinion.
And children are dying.
Yeah. And then when you ask him, because that answer was just like, goosebumps on our
Same.
arms. And you're like, well, okay, do you think that we could change? Can we make it better?
Mhm.
And he's like, oh, it'll take a long time.
Yeah. But it was interesting because he kind of was like, but it was still like he didn't say it couldn't get better. It's like he had
did.
hope.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think he still had a little bit.
I have none. But
And-
just kidding.
And you know what? His little spiel continues because
Yeah, that's true.
then we ask him,
What is something you think adults should know? Listen.
There's a lot I think adults should know, but probably just be kind to kids, because I've had experiences with pretty salty adults, and I didn't even do anything wrong, and they're just throwing a fit because they want to, and I'd still apologize though. because like I'm afraid. You got to be kind. If you're upset with a child, you got to let them know that it's gonna be okay. Get into like the discipline and whatever after.
That as a parent hits like freaking home run, because how many times do us parents go, gosh, I really failed today. I was yelling a lot today. I was very angry today. Like I was not my best self. This reminds you, and this is something that I have to remind myself. Oh yeah, I got goosebumps again. This is something that I have to remind myself every day. Like when I do lose my cool and I do snap and yell, a lot of times it's really not the kid. A lot of times it's really because I had the house to clean. I had all these mouths to feed. I had I had stuff to do,
Yeah.
and now there's someone wanting your attention and wanting to talk to you.
And it can feel like yipping in your ear, but to them,
overstimulating.
Yeah, overstimulating.
And so then you snap, and it's not even about them. And so it's really, really important as a parent to remember to go and let your child know, hey, that wasn't about you.
He said, be kind and let them know it's all just going to be okay.
Yeah. And they need that. I try really, really hard anytime I snap to go and be like, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to yell. I had a rough day. I had blah, blah, blah. Just not to make an excuse for the behavior. It's really because I want them to tell me like why they got so mad and like yelled at me or said something ugly. And so I'm trying to like
teach them to be able to be introspective and understand why they're feeling the way they're feeling, why they're acting or reacting
and
the way they're acting, and to communicate that. That is huge. That's something that I think even as adults, it's very difficult. Like, honestly, I would say that's the number one problem in a marriage and a relationship sometimes is just learning how to communicate with each other.
And don't take it too hard on yourself, parents, if you do find yourself being mad all the time. Because in the words of Amelia,
whoopsies, I made a mistake and it's okay. It's okay.
That is the cutest song.
It is the cutest song.
Also, in the words of Amelia, you mess up, they're still going to take you to that desert island.
Oh, Jesus. Not the desert island. Yeah. And to wrap it all up, at the end of all of this, you asked your nieces and nephews' mom, what did she think about hearing all these answers?
Oh, yeah. Let's play it right now.
It was a treat for me because I know I was here listening with their permission, but if I asked them those same questions, I don't know if they would have been so forthcoming because just being on a screen and talking to a favorite aunt was like, oh, I think it drew out more from them than me having those questions.
I'm glad you got to be here.
Yeah, I feel proud of all of them because they had really sweet, kind ideas that I was proud of.
I am very proud of them too. I wasn't going to say to Owen, what kind of drills do you guys have to do at school? Are they shooter or gun violence drills? But that made my heart hurt that Gregory has had anxiety about that. But yes, he's older and we could talk about it.
I probably could do better about talking to him about it. It terrifies me too. And I've kind of avoided it because I didn't want to put the idea in his mind. But it's already there.
It's there. You're right.
I relate.
Yeah?
I believe there's a lot of truth to that.
Yeah.
I mean, asking my 12-year-old some of these questions, I'm going to get I don't know to every single one of them.
Yep.
Guarantee you, promise.
Yep. Do you think that your daughter would have answered differently if she wasn't sitting in front of a microphone? Or do you think she would have answered you?
I think she would have answered differently had we not been sitting in front of a microphone. Like, as in, I think that, again, if, like, my mom asked her these questions, I almost bet you that there would be more thought and more detail into some of the answers than what we got. But no matter if I asked her in the car, if I asked her with the microphone, I was getting very vague answers.
That's true. It's true. And even when I started asking fun and silly questions, she kind of opened up a little more just because, I don't know, it's not, like, obviously she wants you on the desert island with her, not your mom and not me.
Right.
But yeah, for some reason, it just draws out a different side of the kids.
It
having
does. And
a loved one.
Right. And of course, like, we don't want, our kids to put all their trust into someone else,
And that's not what we're
even
saying.
family. But it's just something to think about. If there is an adult in their lives that you trust and you
That's
want
the
another
main.
opinion from, like, my kids are lucky enough to have multiple dads, right?
Mhm.
So if me and Simon can't get something out of one of them, then hey, we tag Andrew in, and
Nice.
99% of the time, Andrew gets a better response than we do.
That's pretty amazing. And I do think that that's the crux of it. It's going to be somebody that you love and you trust, and as do the kids. This is just kind of an interesting way to wrap up our season.
When we started this podcast, I really didn't know what it was supposed to be and what exactly we were doing, but I knew I wanted it to help women in some way or another, and I didn't know how. But as we've gone through each of the episodes and as I thought about it and, we've gotten to meet some of the people we've met, I realized, okay, this may not be your average like self-help podcast, because God knows we're not.
We're a mess.
We are a mess. But it's been mind-opening.
Mhm.
All of our subjects, I feel like, are things that people either don't know exist or don't know enough about, or just have the door open for them to be like, okay, I can find myself. Let's look in some unusual ways.
Yeah, exactly. And I was thinking another kind of back to how this episode rounding out the season of curiosity. I really like the idea that we brought in, hopefully, some suggestions on ways that you can get more out of your kids, because they are our future. They are going to be the ones that are going to be making the podcast in 10 years. And like,
do you think they'll be podcasts, or do you think they'll be like, what are those Graham things? Like where they just pop up in front of your face?
That'd be really cool.
Well, guys, don't forget about us. You can keep track of us on social media, interact with us on social media. We'll be keeping you updated on what we're doing and what we're getting into, things that are changing, when we'll be back.
Yep.
We have lots of fun stuff. So excited. So do not forget about us. And please remember to rate and review.
We love you guys.